It's the year 2021, and we'll soon be getting Zack Snyder's Justice League. I'm thrilled because what I saw in 2017 seemed like a far cry from what the dude was trying to go for in Batman vs. Superman. I love that movie because it's the first real comic book movie that feels like a comic book taken to the silver screen. It's a contestable matter, and, people are free to have their opinion, so I won't die on a hill trying to argue that. But what I will argue about is certain critics saying, what has Warner Brothers done? They've allowed themselves to be bullied and be told what to do with their franchise by the fans. And I understand the sentiment behind that. If studios just obeyed public opinion to such a degree, then we never would have had Heath Ledger as the Joker, and there are several other examples I could cite. That being said, I would like to point out that it was the same kind of energy and enthusiasm, although in a much more negative way, that derailed plans for Zack Snyder's DCEU. When Batman vs. Superman came out, it made $800 million at the box office, and it divided people. People are like, oh, it's so dark, and oh, it's not like the Marvel movies. And I'll hear people out when they say there are things being done that seem to be out of character for these respective heroes. That's an arguable point. But the thing that critics need to listen to and contemplate is the fact that there was a plan was in place, and then an angry mob derailed that plan. Now something similar is taking place, but in a much more positive way. The distinguishing factor between these fans and the ones who derailed Zack Snyder's original plans is this. I do believe that it's all about positivity and constructive criticism. They saw that he had an original vision and he was not allowed to execute said vision. And they have made a petition to the company that holds the right to that, Warner Brothers, that there is an audience for his original movie. And we will tell you for as long as we need to. And they didn't just nag about it like online trolls do, like the quote-unquote fans who caused all this trouble in the first place. They raised funds for the Snyder Cut, and they donated it to charity. They wanted to prove that there was a difference. And that effort has paid off. Another point I'd like to bring about is the fact that the DCEU movies, up until Justice League, did way better than the Phase 1 Marvel movies, with the exception of the first Avengers. In the first wave, the Iron Man movies were really the only ones that did about $500 to $600 million at the box office. Captain America, Thor, Hulk, they either broke even or they suffered a loss. Now, you could argue that it wasn't about those individual movies, but about building up to the first Avengers movie, which I feel was the plan. And yeah, I'll hear you on that. But one thing that the box office can do is indicate there is an audience for something. Now, all the movies like Man of Steel, it did $600 million. And Suicide Squad, Batman vs. Superman, Wonder Woman, now Suicide Squad, not my favorite DCU movie, but even it did like $700 million at the box office. So in comparison, comparing to the Marvel Phase 1 movies, they outperformed drastically. Now, their quality you can argue. But to say there wasn't an audience for this, it feels disingenuous. And what I see the Snyder Cut as, and maybe I'm being repetitious, is this. That original audience, who those movies were intended for, are saying, we're here and we exist, and we want to see as much as possible as what this is supposed to look like. So, bravo, guys. And you could have just nagged online, but you actually did some constructive stuff, and you donated to charity, and you showed that the internet can be more than vitriol. It can be a force for good and positivity. And we can all have a laugh and be entertained. So thank you and keep up the good work.